Hello, hello, hello. So today we are solving data structure and algorithm questions which are asked in company's interview or interview questions. So before starting the video and before explaining you the problem, and we will talk about how the problem works, what the structure of the function is. Before doing all that, I just want to tell you that if you want to watch the same video in Hindi, the Hindi version of this video, the link for that video will be provided in the description. If you want to read about this code and understand for yourself, the link for that will be provided in the description below. The explanation for the code is written in English, Hindi, and English. So whatever language you are comfortable in, English is a combination of Hindi and English. So you can read it for yourself. So let's start the question, and let's first read the question and understand what the function structures, how the function structures, and I will in this video tell you about the pairs and the map. Because to solve this question, you have to know about pairs, what pairs means, and what map is. So we will go step by step. So the problem states that you have given a two arrays or a list. So problem says, okay, we have a two arrays here. So this is an array and this is an array. So somewhere something like this, array 1 and array 2. So we are given a two array, and as I can see we have given a length of an array n and m. So consisting of n and m integers. So let's say array 1 is of size n and array 2 is of size m. Okay. So what we have to do, your task is to return the number of element common in array 1 and array 2 and the number of element in the union of array 1 and array 2. So let me break this down. So what is it is actually saying that there is some element which are common in array 1 and array 2. Let's say um, it is 5, 6, 1, 2, and it is 5, 1, 8, 9. So the common element in array 1 and array 2 is 5 and 1. So we have to return the common element, and what we have to return? We have to return the union of array 1 and array 2. So the union of an array 1. So we have to then like say that array 1, the union is basically combination of array 1 and array 2 minus the common element. So we can say the combination of array 1 is the size of array 1 plus combination of array 2 is the size of array 2 minus union. So union is basically the common elements. Okay. I will like I will make you understand. So you, or you can say not union but an interaction, intersection. No, that would be a good term. So the intersection, interacting, because these two elements are common. So if we don't minus the intersection element, then these element will repeat in the in the output. So let's now understand the structure of this problem. So I told you that this problem have a array 1 which is this, array 2 which is this, the size of array 1 which is this, and if I scroll this there, just a second, I'm just struggling with this. So if I scroll this there, right side, so we have array m, so size of array 2. Okay. So this will take these element. What is this? What is pair int? So we have to, and then as I said in every video that this is a function name. You can write any function name, but because I'm doing it ID, I would not change because this function name would have been injected in the main function of this ID which runs the code. So let me first explain what is pair, and let me explain maps, because maps are important for this problem to understand. So what is a pair? So if we say, let's say this is a vector, this is a whole vector, and this is, let's say I will take three index. So this is index 0, this is index 1, and this is index 2. So pair is nothing but, let's say at index 0 here we have a pair. So let's say we have a pair of element. It is saying we have a pair of element of int. So at index 0, let's say we have stored 1, 2. Then at index 1, we have stored 3, 5. At index 2, we have stored 8, 9. So when we say that array at ith index, and if that ith index is 0, what is the value at that index in form of pair, then the value which is stored it at 0th index is our 1 and 2. This is known as pair, right? We have stored integers, we have stored strings, we have stored boolean and everything, and this is how pairs are stored. And then what is map? Then just a second, let me first erase this. What is map then? So map is nothing but the value. I won't say pair because you will get confused. But key value pair. Key value pair. What is key value pair? So here the value will be stored, and here the key will be stored. The best example to understand map, like everyone in the school has their roll call or roll number. So when a teacher say a particular roll call or a roll number, a particular students raise up and say present or absent or anything, then the roll call which you are assigned is your key. Because let's say I have given a roll call of 10, and if my teacher says okay, roll number 10 or roll call 10 present or not, I will go ahead and say present or absent. That means that 10 is a key which is assigned to me. So whenever a 10 key is called, the value which is me is present or not there. So it is a basically a key value pair uh, which stores value. So map is used in that way. So let me write the code and I will break it down as we write the code, right? So I hope you understand. We have to return a pair. We have given two arrays, n and m is there. And now let's write the code. Okay. So we have to have something which can store the intersection, because we have to minus the intersection. And as the problem states, we have to have a union array. So how we assign an array, how we assign a map. So we go ahead and say unordered map, and because it takes key value pair, then we will use this arrow, and we know we want a key to be integer, and we want our this value to be integer, right? And we will name this map as map, very original. So we have a unordered map of type integer and integer, and then we are assigning that map a name of map. Okay. Now what we have to do? So we have to store the values and the keys for array 1 and array 2. So how we can do that? So we have given an array, so we can do that. Okay, go through all the elements of array 1, traverse all the element till n. The size of an array 1 is n. So go through this, this, and this. Go through this and do what? Store the element of array I. Let's say we are saying we are assigning integer pointer to be I. So I will go from 0, 1, 2, and 3. So go through all this, and because we are traversing, we'll say plus plus, and store this value in our map. So how we will store? So this is how our traversal will work, and I will say store it into the map. So we will say array I and plus plus. So go through the array I, like our array, and store all the elements which is at ith index. Let's say the element at ith index is 0 or 1 or 2, any element. Store it into the map and move the ith index I pointer ahead. So this is how you store an element in a map. And we have said that we need an intersection, so we will say int intersection, and we will assign that as 0 because we don't have any intersection yet. So we have assigned the intersection 0. Okay, so this is how our all the elements of our this array 1 will get stored. Okay, now the part for array 2. So all the elements which are stored in our map, so how it will look. So after doing this, uh, map will have value of array 1 here and the key here. So all the keys for values at array index I, the value will be stored here and the key will be assigned here, let's say 0, 1, 2, right? And we will say go through all the element at array 2. So we'll say, okay, now the array 1 part is done. So let me erase this. Now go through array 2, which is our second array. Go through array 2, which is of size m. Go through array 2, and if array 2 is greater than 0, like if map, because initially the map would be 0. So when the map is made initially, all the key and value here, value is 0, all the values is here 0, because there is no repetition. Let's say ith index is here, then the value of ith index is 0 because it has occurred one time, then this, and then this. So if after this map array I plus plus, all the values are stored in this, and the key at the key part, and the value for that is 0. But when we go through all the elements in array 1, this all 0 becomes 1 because that element occurred one time, then the second element occurred in the array 1 two time, then the second element array occurred in array 1 third time. What I'm saying, no, scratch that. So let me write this down because I myself is getting confused in the trail of thoughts. So initially all the values are 0. So when the element at array of array I, array 1 at ith index is stored here, this value will change it to 1 because the value now is stored here, and now this count will be 1. The value of second index is stored here, then this 0 will become 1 because the count has increased to 1. Then this value has been stored, then this 0 will become 1 because now the element is present. So this is how the map will work, right? And then when we go through all the element at array 2, and we will check if any element of array 2 is greater than 0, which means 1. That means that element of array 2 which is present, let's say 5 is present in array 2 and 5 is present in our map, which is now 1 because the count is 1. If it is greater than 0, that means this element is common in array 1 and array 2, right? Then we will go ahead and say intersection plus plus because we got one intersection here, and we will deduct that element from array 2. So we will deduct the element from array, this is array 2, this is index at that element is present, and we will say minus minus. So we will do that. So let me just write the code, and I will try to make things clear while writing the code. So what we have said, first we have assigned the map. Okay, we have assigned a map. Then we'll say, okay, go through array 1. So go through all the element at array 1 and make a map. Let's say 5, uh, 1, 3, 2. So when the map is assigned, it is assigned like this. Here the count is 0, 0, 0, and 0. Wait, 0. And 5, 1, 3, 2. But this will be plugged after we go through the loop. So this will be the initial thing. Then we will go ahead and say, okay, we have assigned a value. Then we will say for int I, which starts with index 0, it will go to the size of array 1, which is n, and then I plus plus. It will go through all the elements and the index of array 1, and we will make this count 1 because this element is present in this array 1 array or vector. So every time we will go through it, we will make it 1. So let's make this one. So after traversal, the 5 will become, the count for 5 will become 1, the count for 1 will become 1, the count for 1 will 3 will become 1, and count for 2 will become 1. So okay, let's do that. So then we will say, okay, we have to store it in map. What we have to do, we have to store array 1 at I, the element I of array 1 we have to store in map, and we will say plus plus because the pointer will move ahead. Okay, so we did that. Now the array second part will come. Okay, let's assign a variable which will track the intersection thing. So we have said int intersection. Okay, we have assigned that. So we'll say that for, we will go through all the elements in array 2. So for int j is equals to, or we can say I because we are outside the loop, we can also say this is I. So the I think I can write this as j, a, k, anything, but I am writing this as I because I want to there is a confusion that if we have used I, we can't use I. Like few students have confusion that if you have used I, you can't use I again. But that's not the case. If you the for loop ends here, you can use I again because this I is applicable for this for loop. This I will be applicable for the this array to for loop. So I is equal to 0, then I would go to m, the size of array 2, then I plus plus. And while we go through array 2, we will check whether this element is present in our map or not. So we will go ahead and say if array 2 I is greater than 1, but this will not work because we are checking array 2 I but not in a map. So we have to do this because we have to check that element in map is greater than 0. Then what we have to do, we have to say okay, this is an intersection because these elements are common, so we will say intersection plus plus. Okay, so we found our intersecting element, and then we will remove our intersecting element from array 2. So map array 2 I minus minus. So we removed that element. So we found our intersection. We found which array we don't want. Okay. Now the second part of the question is we need a union of array 1 and array 2. So that's easy. The union for that, as I told you, is n plus m, the combination of array element of array 1 and the combination of the element of array 2 and minus intersection. So after this loop, we will say int union size is equals to n plus m minus intersection. So the size of array m, the size of array 1, the size of array 2 minus intersection. And because we have to return a pair, because we have to return a pair here, so we will say return, we will make a new pair and I will name it as make pair. So what we have to return? We have to return two integers and we are getting two integers. So make pair. Intersection is a integer and union size is an integer. So we will return a pair here. So I'm making a pair because this is an integer and this is an integer, and I'm returning a pair which holds two integers. So let's run this, and as you can see, all the test cases are passed here. And this is how you can solve this question. But if you want to read this code in detail, the link will be in description. I know this is a little complicated code because we are using maps, then we are using pairs, and we are going through all this, and we are making an intersection and union and everything. But when once you get the hold of pair and map, it is easy. But if you want to read about this, go ahead, and the link is in the description. And if you want to watch this same video in Hindi to explain it more clearly, so that link is also in the description. You can go ahead and watch the Hindi version of this video. I will see you in the next video.